it's pretty effective. What's up? So, one of the alt-right numbers I discussed in the expose, he, we'll discuss him, I guess. He is, what's up? He is just totally ignoring who Trump is, and he's putting all his friends into the business with him. Yeah, you see, that sounds about right. Commentary. That is definitely right. But I think he's one of them. I mean, anyone who's aware, like, would look at him and think that, right? So, like, that's your first clue. Like, if you look like David Copperfield, you might be who David Copperfield is, you know? If you look like fucking Harvey Weinstein, you might be Harvey Weinstein, you know? So, that's like, 101, but they've like simply gone to stating their names and who they are and teaching you to say that instead of teaching you to like hunt them down and see who they are. Like, yeah, well, I mean, people are, you probably shouldn't like, you know, treat them too badly, unless they fucking up all the time. But but the point of his show there is that it often the point of the show is in the lie, not the truth they're telling you or their version of the truth they're telling you. The point of the show is in the lie. Like the point of Alex Jones' show is to tell you to go genocide the Muslims for so his family can steal the Middle East. And that's kind of like the point of Trump. And that's kind of like the point of all the alt-right, which is weird because they took over the Nazis who were like literally against that forever, but I guess it was a switch they had to make. Yeah, yeah, that's the most likely. I mean, I don't know if he even really needs paid if he's one of them. Like he's already paid, like they already own everything. So how are they not paid? I mean, they don't have to work it, um, most of them, but especially some of these people like Alex Jones. He's pretty paid, but to be honest, his viewers paid him. But I think they use the money bombs to mask money coming into them, rather than it really be they get like they probably do get millions from their viewers, their gullible viewers, and then they probably get like an extra $20 million bonus, and it's not like you're watching their bank account or anything. And hell, they could even easily hide it from the feds at that point. They could easily launder the money, and if the feds wasn't working with them right. But the feds saying it's the Russians is crazy talk. Donald Trump is working with everyone across the globe. It's like, it's crazy. He's working with everyone and just saying he's working for America. Like, literally, that's all he's doing. So, that's kind of the same point there. But yeah, he is like a communitarian. I mean, he probably tells you about that, right? I couldn't listen to him long enough to like not know. I've seen it before, so it's like once you see them, you can't like fall for their traps and stuff. You have to think through it. And their biggest trap is stealing your time from you. So so you die. Like you're killing yourself by watching them mislead you, and instead of actually doing something, and then at the same time they're like progressively working against you. So they're they're working to kill you, and you're working to fund them. Hell, even I sent Alex Jones some bucks, right? And I sent David Duke a couple bucks because, you know, he was talking real big on the Zionist issue, but then they just all did that. They all do their 180s when it's time to. When the sleeper agent needs to go into effect, that's when they'll do their thing. But the alt-right's like a narrative there. They all don't have to change, but they all seem to. Like they all just move on to the next deception. And it works completely. Like TYT came from NBC, and fucking then they splintered into other, and then they'll splinter, and then the same thing happened. Like someone made a good point in the comment section that the TYT is like Alex Jones. Alex is like the TYT of the Republicans. Message retracted. Hopefully you retracted that. I shouldn't have. Maybe I do have like really fucked up shit like censored or something. But I wasn't allowed to say Nazi, so I don't think most of these channels are censored by the YouTube fucking. I think they're, well, they maybe are like live censored by people, but I know that many of them have like live mods in their room and shit. Okay, and so you can retract that actually. I didn't even see an original message. I just said it told me something was retracted. Fucking, but he's just the same as others. I mean, as I said in the alt-right thing, the alt-right expose, that it's just the same thing. He's like the alt-right is basically about telling you the evil of the Casper ghost exists, but then they're like working with Casper the ghost, like, and you're like, what the fuck? And the GDL, their goal is to teach you to say the word Casper. So you'd be like, Casper, Casper, Casper. You're like, oh, I pooped my diaper today. I blame Casper. Casper did it. It's the Caspers. The Caspers did it. And like literally, that's like all they were teaching people. And then they were teaming up the alt-right, who's also teaching you to talk about Casper. Hell yeah. To talk about Casper, but then fucking worship Casper. So it's like they're teaming up, and it's like you can tell, like, because Patrick Little even claimed he was into the alt-right shit, or not. He was aware of it, and then he just went to hanging out with them. It's like, dude, you need to find some better friends, fucking, for real. Like you don't just like be like, hey, like these people are doing shit to our nation, and then you go fucking hang out with them and shit. It's like, who would do that? And they do it like knowingly too. Like they don't do it unknowingly. That, like when you do it unknowingly, that's a different situation. But if you're just them lying and I mean, tons of people have told you, and you don't care, and they explain to you they know in their shit. Like even Bro Nathaniel, he had to erase and change some of his pages because, yeah, that sounds about right. Like they would try to make one of their people disappear and shit to make him look legit. But I mean, fucking Kokesh kind of disappeared. I don't remember hearing about him for a while, but like no one really cared. Fucking, he was going to lead us to victory too. And it's like the libertarians are the same people too, and it's just the same tricks over and over again. Yeah, it's like Alex Jones. He's what, like 80 now or something, and he's led like 5 of the groups, and Sink's like what, in his 40s, and he's led like, I don't know how many officially he's led, but it's more than two. I'm sure of it. I mean, it's like fucking everyone knows his name. Yeah, Mike Delaney always disappears though. He's like there's people just staged to like randomly pop up. They probably run different type accounts. It's possibly. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be, but sometimes there's just people who like posts. It's like someone was asking me about Jim Howe. Like, what do I think about Jim Howe? Where's Jim Howe gone? It's like, well, Jim Howe, first of all, is one of his last two videos, he said, I'm taking a break. So there's no real fucking conspiracy theory there. And he and Scott Roberts have a track record of taking breaks. And there's, really, I mean, you have live, you got to do something in life, even if it's just you feed yourself and bathe and try to stay clean and try to take care of the stuff you own. Like, that could like take your entire day away from you, yet alone if you have to add other things like work, finding a way to get money, finding a way to get the stuff to clean yourself with, finding a way to do anything, fucking anything, except for like go out and stare at the trees, right? And then you'll probably have to take extra baths because you probably get dirty if you go outside. Fucking, but yeah, and some of these people that's their life. That's what they do. They're just designed to drop out here and there. And so they do. Like Monograph I haven't seen from him in a while. I don't know why. I suppose he probably hasn't been posting. I got so many subs though, it's hard for me to tell who hasn't been posting. But Stexenhammer he's always trying to bait you too. He's like, oh, like he just posted a video on Israel. And it's like he loves saying Israel's sucking on America, and it's like, well, it's just one of their scapegoats. It's who cares about Israel? What about Israel and Trump? Israel inside Trump's heart, beating in and out every second. It's like 2 fucking pints of Israel fucking running through the presidency. Every second 2 pints of Israel goes through the president's chair. It's because he's generating it. He's fucking generating that shit. And it doesn't matter what Israel's doing if Israel's like in America. Like, what matters is what's happening in America. It wouldn't matter if it was the Muslims, the Koreans, the Christians, the Satanists. If they were acting that way in the open, they would be getting fucked up. And it doesn't matter, who it is or what extent of what they're doing. But it's not the other people. Yeah, Mark Dice, he's like fucking, didn't he like die down for a while? He turned into like celebrity gossip. What's he doing politics for again? He was just doing celebrity gossip when it came to Trump, like him helping Trump get elected. He just did like celebrity gossip type shit. It was real stupid. He would go on the beach and like edit stuff and laugh at people. And it's like, wow, you're fucking going places. He really did go places in life with that, though. That's kind of sad. He got fucking millions of viewers, already paid for millions of viewers. Let's get it right. He's like the Inquirer, so you can't believe everything he tells you because he's on the extreme end of retardation. But he supposedly has millions of viewers. Yeah, he's actually part of the mainstream media fucking, like, that's big time. Like, it's hard to get in their media. It's they put you there when they want you there. So he's not like there on accident. And he's just like an internet version of the tabloid gossip. He's like this, the Inquirer or the Sun, and he's just there to celebrity gossip. Alex Jones played that role for a while too. He always tells his fans to go watch Hollywood productions, but then he's telling you like Hollywood is Satan and all this shit, and he would like he's saying it's the Arabs, so pretty much to him that means Hollywood's Satan, and then you're like, damn Arabs took over the government, man. They took over the movies. That's why the movies are filled with black people now. Yeah, I got interviewed by Breitbart once, man, and they swept that shit under the rug. I even said crazy shit so they could have like easily taken it out of context. I was like, oh my God, I halfway fucked it up. Like the first half was fine, and then the second half I got into some fucked up shit because I like sink people in and then fucking get into some advanced shit because it's like there's where you're at and where I'm at, and I'm like over here like there's some weird shit going on in this world, and everyone else is over here like I think the TV's lying to me, and like that's a quite a bit difference there, where some people are just like, Obama lied to me? What happened there? Yeah, there was a couple actually. Fucking there's two. I got voted the most ugly anti-Semite. So fuck it. I thought that was a pretty good achievement there. Yeah, and anti-Semite of the month. I always get these great awards in life. I swear to God, I do. I'm not even. I don't know if they're just making it up and I'm retarded and they're just giving me free gifts, but they give me these awards and shit. And like to me, that's like a pretty cool award. They're the ugliest anti-Semite of the year, and they took like this fucking awesome picture of me where I look like some sort of Roman conqueror and shit. Like I look like the lead singer of Manowar when he was 30 year. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Like that dude like embodies. The picture they took is like, it's like they wanted me to look good and they know better. Media knows better. Why would they take a good picture of me? I provide plenty of bad pictures, I think. Right? Maybe I don't. Yeah, and some of those other people were people I knew on Facebook too. And one of them actually went to the Middle East to meet one of my other friends on Facebook. Or so they claim. You never know what's going on here because there's like some weird box they've been keeping me in my whole life. And I'm not sure who they are and the purpose of this, but I suppose even if it was good people, they wouldn't want to tell me because I would have fucking probably did something about it if I knew how to. Yeah, it's like, dude, you can't start on Facebook. I go on Facebook and I'm banned the second I start being realistic. Like, I go on there and I'm like, fucking Nazi this, Nazi that, and like fucking white people taking over the globe, and it's like nothing really happens, or at least for years. But now they've changed it, and then they bring in Handsome Truth, and you can say everything I couldn't say for 6 years. But now I can't say Nazi and white supremacist. Thanks. And that's so weird. It's like I'm like not even worried right now. I just put the magic word in my title. I'm trying to see what happens, I guess. Probably nothing. Probably no one sees it or something. It'll probably get back shelf, like whatever their new censorship scheme they started 2 years ago. I don't know exactly what they do, but when you get thrown in that hole, Like that video fucking gets thrown in a hole. I've noticed it. Bad programming from designing that hole leaks out into the other sections of the YouTube, and it causes it to error. But and you can tell it's directly related because it will have like little parts of that programming where you do reach the page that warns you, like, oh my god, this video is alright, killing kittens and having sex with children. Click OK if you want to proceed. And then it like locks it down. You can't share it. There's no share button. You know, there's no comment. So those errors leak into other parts, and you can see that there's probably a lot more going on than just what you see. There's probably a box that the people they want get put in, but they'll still censor people to make them look legit, like they do with Alex Jones all the time. He's not legit. What the hell? He's like the biggest Hollywood star. Someone told me the other day, they're like, "Who's Alex Jones?" It's like, who the hell are you? That's what I want to know. Fucking, which tribe do you come from, buddy? Like, everyone knows who that is. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, status, right? He's on TV. He's been on like every TV show. But the other guy, it's just the same tricks. He's always talking about, he'll throw an anti-Israel bone, and that's the alt-right's trick. And then he'll just tell you other than that, like, hey, let's go worship these people. But he won't say, let's go worship. He'll like, well, let's go worship Bill. You know, more like, they'll make it real obvious sometimes. More like they slap you in the face. They're like, let's go worship Levy Greenspan. And you're like, okay, Levy Greenspan for president. Yeah, and it's like garbage content too. It's like they're not producing anything that would produce any value other than stalling people. Yeah, it's like a game. It seems to be stalling people could be their best tool, and that's a useful tool. Like if you're being chased by someone, the best thing to do is like stall them, and they're stalled, and you're fucking taking off running. And then Mark Dice is like, it's the Illuminati. Let's go watch the new Lady Gaga video. Type down in the comments, Mark Dice sent me. I love you, Lady Gaga. Please pay me some ad revenue for all these views. And then you go watch Lady Gaga and type in the comments, hey, Mark Dice sent me. He wants you to pay him ad revenue for all these views. And then Lady Gaga's like, thank you, Mark Dice. I'll do the Illuminati thing for you again. And then Mark Dice will be like, she did it again. She did the Illuminati thing again. Check out her new video. Baby shakes her butt. And then you watch it, and it's like, she's like, probably with a baby shaking its butt. And they're like, oh, that's so hot, that video. And people in the comments were like, that's the hottest video ever. That girl's so hot. She's only one. Like, oh, you sound like an anti-pedophile. What's up, stars? It's not really a hard talking point for the alt-right to remember. It's just they're pretty much being told to act like Nazis. I mean, which part of that am I missing? Something. It's just strictly Nazi propaganda, and that makes sense because they've been playing the Nazis and the commies back and forth forever and shit. So it seems to be rather effective, and it's really just the same groups over and over. They just change their titles. So the Nazis were 1940s, and so whatever was Nazi in 1930, was probably called like Bukaba. And then in the 20s it was called Huzha. Whatever. Like, Actually, it's weird how history kind of dead ends around that time. It's like the 30s, pre-TV history almost like ends. You can't believe anything. You can't even believe it exists, except for you see 100-year-old person someday, maybe, because they've. Yeah, it's just whoever was killed never got to write anything down anyone cared about. They never recorded it on the VHS cassette tape for the world to see the memories. And yes, well, your story is whatever we write on the paper. Let's sprinkle some crack on him. He was high on crack. Crack's not invented yet. This is the 1970s. Oh, sir, that is correct. We sprinkled some he was snorting dragon powder. Yeah, call for an uprising. He seems extremely highly produced. He's so highly produced, he made a video saying that being highly produced doesn't mean anything. But it's really highly produced. I've been working with media for like 30 years. I've been working on computers for even longer, and it's everything involving a computer. Getting there takes a lot of time. Getting to learn a computer is a dedication in itself, and then beyond that, learning it. Even once you learn, it's time consumed that matters. Engineering is a waiting game. Computer engineering is a waiting game. Unless, of course, they're hiding tech that's a lot better, and software that's a lot better, which I don't doubt it, because they get rid of good stuff, and they seem to slow stuff down just to make it feel like it's slower, and updates and shit. But call for an uprising, he has a lot of high production value, and that takes a lot of freaking work, and he's not doing like it's another one of those channels that has a lot of time to do some bullshit, and I guess that bullshit sells, like the Sun, the Inquirer, Mark Dice, and it is fun to watch. Like Mark Dice is better than the Sun, the Inquirer. Like the Bat Boy and the Sun. You're like, ooh, it's a Bat Child. They had a Bat Child. That looks kind of cool. But it's like, why would you read that? It's all photoshopped and fake, unless they're trying to use it to extort money or push politicians out. In fact, that's like seems to be the main. See, in the Sun world, in the print world of Mark Dice, the Sun, and that they say those papers, like right now I'm reading just another one, they say those papers are used to blackmail people. I don't know what quad up is, but quad up. So yeah, they're like used to blackmail. Like they seem like worthless rags, talking about Bat Boy and world's fattest man, 8 million pounds. It's like, yeah, but they're used to blackmail people. They're like Tom Cruise cheating on fiance, and in like some of that shit's real. Like with Princess Di, like. When Princess Di died, they always had stories about her, and I always thought it was weird how the media didn't like Princess Di, like they wanted her to die or something. And it was like, what? I thought like you treat the royalty like royalty because they do that, like the media doesn't really attack people nonstop. Like the 50% of the media, loves Trump, and the other 50% loves someone else. So that's all that is. But I just seen there's another article today. They're used to blackmail people, and I wouldn't doubt that Mark Dice is used for some of that same stuff to blackmail people, because he does that same celebrity gossip stuff. He has that feel. He doesn't quite do the exact same thing, but he has that feel. And I noticed the celebrity gossip people are getting into the Illuminati stuff. So it, it obviously they have that same feeling going on. They're interested. What's up, Madsen? It's just not very effective if you do it every day. It just kind of turns into nothing. So it's like technically not good. Yeah. Smoking's not very good for you either. So I wouldn't recommend doing that every day. Whatever you do, if you do it all the time, it seems to be negative or something. If you do it too much. And it just kills the effect if you smoke every day. What's on his page right now? Like, I went there the other day, and the page had an Israel video just recently. So let's do this closer. I did some of this in the alt-right one. Oh, there he is. He's talking about Joe Rogan. It's like, but, and I've been saying, like, even like people involved in that stuff, like question who Joe Rogan is and why he's so famous. And it's, well, let's look at fucking Harvey Weinstein and then look back at Joe Rogan and then look at Harvey Weinstein and look back at Joe Rogan. Let's see if, let's look at Anthony Weiner and look at Joe Rogan and look at Anthony Weiner and look at Joe Rogan. It's where you always got to start. And so, yeah, Joe knows more than what he says. Like, that's why I made one of my videos about people knowing more than they're saying. And that's like, vital, because that's obviously the important shit. That's why they're hiding it, because it's the important stuff. You don't, you got like someone coming over you don't trust. You don't just hide your pen, it's like $100 pen, but let's say you got a $1.99 pen, you don't hide that and leave out a wad of money, So you hide the money, and then you're like, hey, I got a pen. If you want to steal something, just take the pen. That's all I got. Yeah, they have done something. Not sure totally 100% what's going on there, but he's been in the media forever. But they all kind of do that. Alex Jones did that too. He's been in the media forever, and he just switches from conspiracy theorist leader, truther leader, libertarian leader, alt-right to leader, the alt-light leader. He's the alt-light leader. But don't tell alt-righters, don't tell his mainstream media that. His mainstream media followers. I swear, it's like he was dead too. How did they like revive him? Because the alt-right killed him, and then he just came back, and like everyone in his comments didn't believe him. How is he even on TV still? Because how is he, not really how is he on TV, how is he still even being talked about at all? Because last I checked, everyone on Alex Jones' page was like, Alex Jones is a fraud, and no one really believed him. So how were they still saying all that when Trump got elected, like by Alex Jones, and people were still in the comments like, this guy's a fraud? And it's like, none of them could figure it out that that means Trump's a fraud if he's a fraud and he's figuring Trump. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I can buy comments and stuff, so definitely someone who works with Hollywood can buy some comments. And then they'll filter it through all sorts of schemes and shit. Like what was that one scheme? They had a headbanger scheme. The metal militia was going to go around and go to Justin Bieber videos and tell him how much they suck. And it's like, when I seen that, like I already seen Alex Jones do that enough, and I was like, wait a minute, dude, you're hurting people to give number one. What's the specific word they use in the community? The the viewer, meaning the special, the one-time viewer. You know, like whatever it is, but the difference in the count between slipping my mind right now, between a unique user, a unique user, you go and give them a unique user hit. You are never going to watch Justin Bieber, and so they give you a unique user hit by telling people who would never go watch Justin Bieber to go attack Justin Bieber, and then who knows, people probably did that a lot, and you like go there, like give them 10,000 hits, and but you can just pay people in India too, but some of their algorithm supposedly doesn't like that when you do that. But then again, I think they're the same people, so they can make sure it happens, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's real fake accounts. If they try to hide that it's fake accounts, or they could just adjust the number, they could just pre-add some sort of pre-generated comments. I suppose, because I'm pretty sure, you know, YouTube, Google owners, Alphabet works with these people. They don't just give their money to nobody. That'd be stupid for the people who are like the most powerful people on earth. They're so powerful, no one even makes the article talking about they're some of the most powerful people on earth. Yeah, I was wondering how many are actually bots. Like, dude, I was wondering if some of the people I know are bots and shit, because I've tested them with the same methods, and they seem kind of stuck sometimes on some shit. Okay, so we're back here at the Stexenhammer. So recently, here's the key flags you look for. He's using the word Democrats, like right there. So he's probably using, oh, liberals. Liberals want Trump to do something. Okay. So right there we know. Okay, let's analyze the words. We have keywords: Democrats, Trump, crazies, Elizabeth Warren, Hillary, sexist Hillary, second woman claims sex, Trump, Kim summit, Venezuela, U.S. withdrawals from INF, liberals, Trump, gay Russians, butthurt Maduro. So basically those are the key words, and half of those words I just named are just like government media talking points. So he's using dog whistle words, Democrats and liberals. And they're not dog whistle, they're exclusion words too. Because many people will see those and instantly be, you know, not want to see that. So when you have a person who's not like liberal or Republican, they'll generally won't listen to any of that shit. But it's always stupid. It's like, you know, Is Michelle Obama a tranny? It's like, what the fuck? What does that have to do with anything? And claims about sexist Hillary Clinton. It's like, who cares about... Is Hillary Clinton still alive? I thought she was, like, dying. I mean, and he won't tell you that. None of the alt-right will tell you that they staged her. Who knows if she really has some issues, but, like, she had, like, a seizure. I mean, a stroke. And then she couldn't fucking... She would, like, wig the fuck out after that. You know, that was the narrative to pull her off the stage. So he just knows words. 100% of them are the weekly talking points for Republicans, because that's all it is. It's just the Republicans again, who were whatever before they made up the Republicans in the 80s, apparently. And then he's like best friends with Kim Jong, who just disarmed himself and bowed down to Trump. It's like every time, like the country, any nation that this nation is interacting with, it's just like they're trying to kill them. They don't have time for anything else. They're too busy trying to sustain the killings. So it's not a good thing that Obama. It's not a good thing that Trump worked out some peace agreement with Kim Jong, because Trump is one of them. So he gets the credit for saving you when he's one of them, like I said years ago. They have to, I mean, they can't 100% like bad guy a president. I mean, and that sounds like bots fucking saying that online. Saying that, he can do whatever he wants. Fucking. The Kim Jong thing, he was like a hero, man. He was standing up to America. Like, what was so bad about that? Like, the whole narrative behind that was like weird. It's like he's calling to do what any fucking sane nation would do. He's just too small to back it up. I mean, America was going to crush him, and then they made some narrative that he came to peace terms. You know what really probably happened is they probably like threatened to kill his family or something. Trump probably threatened to kill his fucking family. If anything, if it was real to begin with. That's probably the only, like, what else does America do? They went and they killed Gaddafi and they laughed at it. Like, literally, they went on TV, and that's not the first time. Like, the dude now behind the Venezuela thing that Trump's team put into power, he was, like, asked about some genocide he caused, like, 30, like, in the 80s, it was on a VHS tape. And he, like, just went crazy laughing. Like, it was, like, the coolest fucking funniest thing in the world. He's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And he was just crazy. Like, he really enjoyed being asked about the genocide of a bunch of people he did. And it's like, he's with Trump now. And that's who we're supposed to worship. Like, like, he wants us to, like, worship this guy. And praise him for stage activities he does, like peace deal with Kim Jong. My foot, dude. See, that's my knee. So I got my fucking... So, he's just talking about the usual shit that's just a distraction. Like, and the whole point of this Israel hatred is to be hating who Trump is. And he doesn't. He wants to tell you to hate those people, but he rarely talks about them. It's like he just throws the bone. Like, I'm going back like a few days. Apparently, he posts a ton of fucking videos. And it all looks important. I swear, you should check it out. It looks so important, man. The occult, the occult, the occult. Like, literally, he just made a bunch of videos about the occult. And he's got a garden. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, I can't even find the one on Israel because maybe he posted it and took it down. No, it's just when I go to this page, it's not giving me like every single one on the front page, so I gotta go back here, and he's posting like fucking 5 times a day. So maybe I should search for the Israel just to be more. Okay, look, I'm searching for the Israel right now, and it's pulling up 0. I mean, he just posted video after video after video. And he talks about Vice Media like it's any different than him. It's just like Jew-controlled opposition. Yeah, I can't even find the Israel because he's posted so much junk since then. Like, he's not, you know, talking about that. He's talking about worshiping them in the end. He's just saying, like, the Nazis were really extreme with it. He's not even, like, going that far. I mean, the neo-Nazis, the original Nazis, like Hitler, didn't really talk about it at all. That seemed like quite a lie. But he's just talking about the normal bullshit that anyone else would talk about. Fucking. And of course, he's backing the French protests because literally everyone was backing that. Like, everyone. Like, you couldn't fucking make that shit up. I think they planted some shit where someone else, some unknown nobody pretty much fucking questioned what it was. And maybe I seen that in 2 places, but I looked for that and found that long after the fact that everyone else was already on it. So it's just like one of their talking points is like, who knows what's going on in France, right? It's like, the only time anyone in America cares about what's going on anywhere else in the world is because they're trying to rob those people. That's the only reason they fucking care. They don't care. You know, they're not like, oh, you got a boo-boo. We're going to fucking rub some fucking alcohol on that, clean it up, and give you some medication and a lollipop. They'll give you some medication, that's for sure. And then they'll give you a bill after they do all that shit too. They literally do that. That's what part. See, people are like, it's oil. It's like, no. They also destroy your buildings, and then they go in, and then they rebuild your build. They rebuild those buildings with American companies using American contracts, and I'm using their money that they pay our contractors. Like when they say contractors, like, yeah, there's all sorts of contractors. There's hired contractors. There's hired killer contractors. There's construction manager contractors. There's a ton of contractors going out to these war zones. It's hardly, like, oil is nothing. Like stealing oil, like, funds the tennis shoes of the military. Each one of them is like in $1,000 worth of gear, which doesn't even get paid for by the government because they only have so much. So he's just going into the same shit. Like, America doesn't need to care about fucking France because America fucking needs to care about itself. And it's always like, it's just going after it like it cares about Syria because Syria is Palestine. It cares about fucking Iran because Iran is right there in the way of where Israel needs to be. And then I kind of don't remember when I was 12 and before. It's weird. It's kind of like fake, non-existent memories, kind of. Like the computer didn't kick in or something. I don't know. People tell me they can remember way back, but I can't. I remember things here and there, like not enough, like to remember everything. Yeah, I don't know how many they did that to, but they switched from like electroshock therapy to drugging around the 70s, late 80s, or early 80s. So I think they were probably still doing drugging back then and shit, but they also were doing other things, so they had to strictly switch over to the drugging. The drugging is part of the 480N 1984 progression system. It's basically, the Marxists and pals are like, well, we'll just drug everyone. And they do then. So they don't care. They they're like, oh, look, that person's retarded. Let's fucking electrocute him and see if we can make him think right again. And like when they don't really care if you're retarded, just like, oh, we don't like that person. Like they look different. They got a different skin color or something, or look, they got orange hair. What's up with that? And then they'll drug you or electrocute you, but it's become like such a business. I think they just try to do it with everyone now. And that's kind of the plan if they're dumping chemicals in the water, right? So to just not care and hit everyone, which leads you to think that they're fucking drugging people because they want to kill them. Because, well, why put that in the fucking water if it's, you know, it's got nothing to do with your fucking teeth. You gotta supposedly brush it in your teeth, which I don't think it's got anything to do with your teeth either. But drinking it's fucking just to fuck you up, make you stupid. So it's the only reason to put it in the water. And then they silence the people, the doctors who are coming out against that. And they always tell you like, hey, they're doing that for corporate money, but they do it so often. It's like they're just trying to kill people. Period. They're not. I don't think the people with all the money, or most of the money, or even a large portion of the money in the world care about money anymore. If they want to make good choices, they could make. If the average person had a few $100,000 a year to spend, they probably could make good choices. Even a crackhead could just smoke himself. He'd get smoked up, and he wouldn't have to rob no one because he'd be like, I got a couple bucks for another rock still. And every time he's run and like never run out. Just every time I got 5 minutes later, be like, I got a couple bucks for another rock. 5 minutes later, I got a couple bucks for another rock. You just do that all year long. Every 5 minutes, a couple bucks, man. But these rich people, I think a lot of them, they're probably just doing that because they want to control shit, because they want to poison shit, stuff like that. Like if you're a big enough corporation that you can test bombs for the government, you're not like having any sort of problem with killing people, right? Like you're already fucking killing everyone, like more than anything ever has. And why not fucking kill people too? They're stupid. They're letting you kill them. They're letting you make bombs to blow them up. So why not poison them too? That's just how some people think, I guess. That's probably how you get close to getting a lot of cash, is starting to have values like that, where you're like, oh, I need some money. How do I get that? Oh, I know. I remember once I wanted to go to this place you get paid to fucking kill people for cash. And I thought that was fucking lifetime opportunity. I was thinking like, wow, they probably offer assassins like $200,000 in the military. And like realistically, they probably would have offered me about 30, $400 a year, if that. And it's like, okay, well, I guess there are people who do that, and then there are people who do that because they want to. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt. I mean, France is right there. You know, it's in an area where a lot of wars have gone on. At least in the surrounding areas, it's big enough to have stood up by itself. But UK is place that wants to conquer the world, so they're probably like. I wonder if they aren't like above America sometimes. You know, like America has its military bases in every nation, pretty much, but like the UK had that before America, and it looks like the UK just passed the torch off to America. It looks like they probably really didn't have a fucking big war. You know, though I mean, they could have very well had a big war, but they weren't actually fighting because they work together today. And in reality, if we're the people who destroyed their empire, that'd be in their best interest to fucking not work with us. I think they just passed the buck off. Once the empire gets so old, it becomes a scapegoat, like everything else. Like the alt right will become in 3 to 6 years, if you really think fucking America's going to be around that much longer. Like the word scapegoat comes from their book. It's literally their word. Like they invented it. You look up shit in the Bible, like, you know, someone, I mean, in the dictionary, someone might have invented some shit, but that was invented in the Bible. Like, it was a ritual they did. It was a ritual they did. So, it looks like they used fucking UK to do the same shit they did America with, basically. So, they probably did force all their culture in the surrounding areas like France and all that. That's why when you fucking hear those people talk about teaming up, like that's not like such a bad thing because the Europe's against America. They're not like America's not a bot. Like they just genocided the Germans. Like realistically, it's like these people supposedly, you know, fucking know about that, but then they want to meddle in France's affairs. And that doesn't sound like a good idea because every time America's meddling in someone's affairs, America gains new land. And other people gain dead leaders. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt there's also EU stations in France. See, yeah, that makes perfect sense because it feels like it's the same empire. It doesn't feel like it's went away. Yeah, that's possible. Look at the Yellow Vest, like the leader of the Yellow Vest, like in one of his podcasts, he's sitting beside a dude who looks like the video of Lay Merchant. You know, the video gif of him where he's like and it's like the real movie video, fucking not. It does. I don't even think it's fake or staged. I don't know. Who knows? But it's definitely real looking. That dude, that the leader of the Yellow Jackets, Yellow Vest, was fucking sitting next to, looked just like him. And it was like, what the fuck? Like, and then they're acting like that's their friend, but that's the way it is. But that's the way it is when you look at Stax and some of these other people. Alex Jones has a mousy look too, so, but it's not enough to like throw a red flag. But you just look at his fucking family, and that's all you need. Like this Donald Duck, fucking Harvey Weinstein. Not exactly. No, he looks like the blonde ones. Donald Trump looks like the blonde ones. And his family looks like the other ones. So It's hard to like look at them and be like, oh well, those people look like Scandinavians. They look like the Swedish. You know, the Trump grandchildren, they look like fucking, you know, like they're Nordic Viking warriors. Like, not at all. They look like they're from the Middle East or something that claims they're from the Middle East, right? And he was talking about the shutdown. That's another thing he talks about. I mean, like everything on his page is just like the government talking points. It's like nothing you couldn't learn anywhere else. It's just they have to have their widespread net. So what they want you to see is all that you see. Like, I should watch this someday and see what happens when it cuts me out. I bet you it like tries to use an excuse for like cutting out the last 30 seconds of the video or something. Yeah, wait, did the French overthrow the UK? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it cut me out and I came back in. I don't know how long it does that for. It'd be effective. It's not effective if it just cuts me out until I press the button again. Be effective if they cut out, use it as an excuse to cut out parts of the video. They tried to kill Farage. That's kind of like, I don't know, man. Fucking, he's still like, he still doesn't like talk about them directly. And the people behind him, though, the people behind him are the ones like the alt-righters and shit. And first of all, it's American. But second of all, it's these people who are being deceptive, like Styxhexenhammer666. And he keeps like he'll talk about like look, he just like the other guys, he's going to bring you to Hollywood. BuzzFeed, Jack Dorsey, well, I suppose that's some sort of famous actor or something, if he's saying it. USA Today. So he's even in it like once a day he's naming like a mainstream outlet for you to go to, basically. At least, but he's just posting so many videos. He might be doing that more than once a day. But that's kind of like the point of Alex Jones there. That's part of his deception, is to have you go check out Lady Gaga. You'd be like, Lady Gaga is so satanic. Her ball sack hangs really low. Go check it out in this video. Like, go tell him in the video, I don't like seeing her ball sack hang like that. That's bad value, family values. And then you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go watch fucking Lady Gaga, because I was going to watch Lady Gaga, right? Like, that was on my bucket list. Find out who Lady Gaga is. Watch Lady Gaga's videos. Then watch her videos, right? Okay. I didn't know who Lady Gaga was until, you know, these people told me, until Mark Dice told me how evil she is. She's evil and wicked. Go check out her video. Tell her you don't like seeing her balls hang down like that. But it's like, who cares what I remember USA Today, like, none of you even know what that shit is. What the hell is he talking about? The USA Today was like back in the day, they had these things on the street corners, these big metal fucking boxes and shit, and they were like, you put like a quarter in, like back in the day, like there was these little pieces of metal that were worth money, and they weren't trash. And you put them in the machine. It's called coins. And you put them in the machine, and you pull it out. And the USA Today there, it's like a book, but it's not a book. It's called the newspaper, and it's like an open book, kind of like really cheaply put together. They didn't want to put a spine on it. It's just basically a spineless book. And so you pull it out and then you close it, or you can take several of them and start selling them. But that's what USA Today is. So some of y'all might not remember that because they got rid of those things, the paper machines on the corners, or did they? Yeah, they probably did, right? I don't see them everywhere. You see them everywhere. Fucking. So that's the USA Today. Like, what relevancy does that have to the real world? Like, did they made a fucking a website? Congratulations, welcome to the fucking year 2000. It's like, what does USA Today have relevancy on anything? What are they gonna? Are they ever gonna stop lying? Like has he written the newspaper articles? You know, like the owners, the writers, and ask them like, hey, why are you lying? Like, why don't he update us about that? And but he just wants you to go see it and check it out, and then get that unique click there. And it's especially apparent in watching Alex Jones that they just want you to get the Hollywood info down. Like, they brought on Jesse Ventura literally, and they turned it into a clown show. And then they gave Jesse his own fucking TV show on top of that. Like, it was just part of the plan all along to bring him into Hollywood Jones's studio. And this guy is, of course, in that circle of the alt-light. Yeah, I mean, look at Stax, dude. That's like the first thing you should fucking be able to, like, out of all the alt-righters, he is the one you would look at. Him and, what, Ramsey Paul. Like, those are the two you look at, and I believe Ramsey Paul, like, admitted to it or something in a video, or he, like, said it facetiously. But I'm sure they all say it facetiously. Well, I'm saying that word wrong right now, I think. I'm sure they all say it that way, though, once or twice. Like, Alex Jones is like, I'm not one. And I'm sure Trump would say the same thing if he was confronted, but no one's ever confronted Trump about that. They've confronted Alex Jones a lot of times about it. And he's like, I'm not one. My wife's not one. And it's like, who cares? You're lying. Like, your wife is one, and your children are them. And so he's lying too, you know? So, but Stax and Ramsey Paul look more like them than even Alex Jones or Alex Jones's kids do. The only one really in the alt-right who you could look at and tell anything extremely from would be like the Trump grandchildren. They're too young for plastic surgery. I think that's what we see there. I think the Trump family probably gets plastic surgery very early in life, and bleaching of the skin, and it's just a stark contrast looking at their kids and looking at them. But then again, as they age, plastic surgery fails, and they want to keep up with some sort of contouring of the makeup to make them look like a different person, which is a new fad. Like, there are literally some black people that bleach their skin white in Hollywood. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. This isn't some new thing. Back in like the 40s, 50s, people would get their back teeth removed to have the jaw look that I have. And so it's not some crazy thing thinking that she's been using plastic surgery to look different. I mean, they look different fucking, like, in the surgery pics showing you that, yeah, obviously these people had surgeries when they're young. But I think the Trumps and some of them, like, look at the kids now, look at the trannies. They're trying to give like 8-year-olds like sex changes and stuff, and it's like but it's like normal. So I think they've always been doing plastic surgery on some of their children to change them. I don't see why they would have to, though. I mean, they say they do the surgery, but I believe they have other means of shifting their looks. But they say they do the surgery, and it could possibly be that they just shift their looks a little bit and then they, say they did a surgery. But whatever the case is, they had changed their looks. They had it changed, and they called it plastic surgery. So, they admit to it. So, fucking, other than that, these other people, Stex does look like them. So that's like highly logical to say that, because that's not, you're not just what is it the Nazis call you if you're infighting, you're like trying to herd cats. There's the third thing was what I meant, but they have these, because they know it's going to happen, they have these slogans about not infighting and staying strong. And it's like, because it's like the group that's telling you the group should be that. But then again, which group isn't, right? Like the Republicans are telling you to not be commies, but the Republicans are commie as fuck. And then the commies are telling you to not be like white supremacists, but they're like fucking totally fucking pro-USA. Like they're, the outcome of the liberals and commies action is always in America's favor. Always. It's like, or in Israel's favor. One of the two gets something out of it. Like every one of their actions, like all they do is say dumb shit all the time. Like the Republicans do too, but that's like the talking point is all liberals do is say dumb shit. It's like, yeah, it's because they're fucking being lied to. And they're being told to say dumb shit, so they're saying dumb shit because they're being told by someone to say dumb shit. They're being misled by someone, so they're saying dumb shit. Yeah, like, you're definitely fucking right about that. So you can argue that. And so it's like pointless. They're not doing anything because they're just saying dumb shit. But like right now they have them, it's the Russians, it's the Russians, it's the Russians. It's like, it's just dumb shit. It's like, I know like one Russian dude. Like, there's like one Russian dude, or a couple, I guess, in this area. And there ain't the Russians ain't coming, man. Fucking, I'm sorry. Like, we need some more Russians. If you're watching this video, especially if you're those girls in that band, Aposty. Wow, come over here. We need some Russians. Fucking, because that's an awesome fucking black metal band. Fucking, but there's no really Russians around here. We got a lot of Hindu people. We got the inner cities, like pretty much blacks and rednecks. I think it's probably mostly blacks, and then politicians, though. Fucking, and then you have like a couple white people out here, I guess. Fucking, but there is no fucking Russians. The Russian, maybe in the Jews, maybe they're hanging out with the Jews, right? Okay, that's probably where they're at. So in that little Jew community over there, that's where the Russians are. Okay, but they're not coming liberals. Sorry. I don't know who that is. What did she do? What did she say down? Yeah, that helps with the fucking that helps fucking classify them as something else when their population's larger than what they act like. Like the Jews, like they say they're 2%. And it's like, seriously, like, yeah, they were like a ton of the people I know in this city. So, and I look around and the Jews' fingerprint is on like everything. They're like 2%, but 50% of 100% of hospitals are named after Jewish shit. And literally some dedicated to the names of Jews, but not, if not the names of Jews, the names of stuff related to Israel, Jews in Israel, like every single hospital. And it's a big city, so we got fucking, we got massive hospitals dedicated to these people. And they like, you hear about them so much, but they're only 2% supposedly. Only 2%, but they're everywhere in my fucking life. And they're everywhere in the city, but they're only 2%. They're minorities. They're the real minorities. They were almost killed off. They're just everywhere at once. But yeah, a lot of the whites are elderly. That's true. I mean, especially in my neighborhood, right? Because it's like all old people out here. And it's like my neighbors are like fucking the only people my age on this street. Although maybe the other guy is closer to my age. I mean, some of the other people's children. But yeah, like fucking it's a lot of old people out here, and that's the white area. There's a few out there in the Dublin area that are like more like middle age, but old people around here. Yeah, well, Barack is a Jewish name, so you don't even need to call him Obama-Stein once you know who he is, because Barak is the name of a 12th century ruler of 12th century, was it 12th century BC ruler of Israel. So it was the name of the prime minister of Israel, Barak Ehud. He was prime minister during 9/11. That's an interesting fact. So Barack was in control of America during 9/11. That's not a dishonest statement. Just which Barack are we talking about? We're talking about Israel's leader, Barack, before Netanyahu. Yeah, hell yeah, and they really are everywhere. That's like kind of like the weird thing there is, I noticed them in my life so much, like that led me to understand that they're everywhere else, because like not so much provide knowing all the facts that they're everywhere else. It's just knowing that they're everywhere around me disproportionately says that they're everywhere else disproportionately as well. And I've never been told this is a Jewish city, but it pretty much feels like it. I mean, the whole nation feels Jewish, fucking after you look at the facts, but the city definitely feels that way. Wow, they're in Thailand. I guess that explains what's going on in Thailand, right? Yeah, I mean, the name Barack is super Jewish. You just type in the name Barack, and they, now if you just type in the name Barack, see they use things to erase the past. They use spells. They use words to do all sorts of shit, and their spells sometimes work differently than you think. Like you think, like I say, I'm gonna cast the spell of chaos, and then everything in your face blows up, and it's like, well, I cast the spell of confusion, and like you're just like, what's going on? I'm retarded. And but in reality, a spell of confusion is like throwing weird symbols at people and telling them it's numbers, and you can do the same thing with the words there. And one of their word tricks is erasing words. They like to erase and recycle words, and they'll like erase the word and then bring it back with entirely new meaning, and you'll never even know that the word existed before. And like at the same time, they'll be spitting in your face when they bring the word back. It's like, well, Barack Ehud controlled America during 9/11. Well, look, we're going to bring Barack Obama to save you from George Bush, who we're blaming for 9/11. and you know they do this with the words. Like instantly you forget that Barack had. They're like Barack's a Muslim. He's an Arab. He's an Arab, and then you're like, well, there's no more Barack in Israel, right? Barack never was a 12th century BC ruler of Israel, and Barack never was a Jewish name held by a lot of Jews in Israel, like political process. You look that up in the current process. You have to like hyphenate Obama or go to the years before Obama. You have to change your search so not every Barack is the number one is Obama. You know, for the first 100 pages it'll be Barack, but if you so you add like it's something to change the search, like things I said, or like the word Israeli government, and then you look at the results from that, like the results from the listings and the results from the pictures. Pictures you can read a lot faster because you know what to look for. You know, if you're telling me that Stexenhammer666 looks like one, you know what to look for. So you type that in, and instantly you're like, yep, that's Barack is a Jewish name, and it's not me making that up because you can fucking see it right in front of your eyes and analyze it. It's them telling me that first, and part of their Bible trilogy story, even, I suppose. If he was a ruler of Israel, it's probably from the first Bible, right? So I wonder what that is, right? If he was a ruler in Israel, then he would have been mentioned in the Bible, right? I wonder what Barak did in the Bible. He's probably like the God who destroyed fucking, or who led retards to their death or something, you know. But damn, and see now I'm like, oh, I want to look that up, but it's like useless, stupid knowledge because it's kind of just like a story they've invented. But you know, it just like it will just echo the same shit. It always just echoes the same thing. Like the Holocaust was when they burned people's children's in fires, and then in Germany they firebombed the Germans. So they just recycle it, and a lot of times they'll bring it back. Like Barak was the 12th century ruler of Israel, and then Barak was the 2012, 2008 ruler of one of the other Israels called America, called USA. You know, they always recycle those words. They'll like erase them so you don't remember, like, cause you'll know eventually, you know, Barack was a chump. You'll know like Barack didn't change anything, and then you'll see like what happens after Barack, and you'll just know that, you know, that's the pattern. You're going to see it. When you see it again, you'll know it. But they try to erase it sometimes, you know, like when they brought Barack, they wanted to erase the connotation. So it's all involved, like the spells, like the magic, the confusion, the all that shit. It's all intertwined into the different ways they use the words and the different words they use. And there's all sorts of, like, literally the words are like magic and can be used to control people. I can use words to control people. I can use it very easily. I've been to like classes for stuff regarding some of that shit, but understanding, watching them do it, they're like masters. I've probably learned most from them, but still, they they'll they'll like hide language and make you not be able to say it, and you know, like talking to them, and but then at the same time they like flipped it so it became like everything to say them and nothing to learn anything, and that's the GDL. It's just like everything to say them but nothing to learn. That's kind of like the alt-right too, like they swear up and down they're like anti-Israel or anti-Jewish, but then Trump's whole family is Jewish and that's their god, and they'll kill you if you oppose him. And it's like, how does that even fucking work? It like, wow, those are some really good magic spells you're casting by changing the words. So they erased the word Barack as an Israeli name, and then they brought in people like Donald Trump to tell you that Barack is a um, a Muslim Arab name. Oh, and it's a gun. Yeah, see? Barack also means puppet and a blessing. Yeah, there is so many twists to that word Barack. It means so many things. Like when they say the word Barack, I'm surprised they don't like have an orgasm of ecstasy because it means so much to them, and it means conquering the goyim in so many ways to say Barack. It's like saying I'm cashing you out, Bob. It's just like saying fuck you. And that's kind of like when the guy said Trump was like that one king who turned on the goyim, and that that's what he did. That's what he does. Like you can't. He said it. I'm gonna come after you people, and fucking. And then that one dude like mysteriously suicided, and his brother had to go to jail over real stupid stuff. So he did that same shit, and it makes me wonder where that discussion's going, because what's Trump's name mean? I wonder what that almost has to mean something to them if they let him up there, right? What's Donald and what's Trump mean? And it's likely those may not be his like complete full names. Maybe his middle name has something to do with it, but I don't remember. Then again, I never knew anything about the word Barack until I looked into it. So I myself was like, oh, it's a fucking, it's a name for fucking Arabs. And when in fact you knew it because Barack Obama was the first guy on TV, and on 9/11. He was the first guy. He was the first guy doing something, but he was I think like right after the broadcast. He was one of the first guys on, something like that. But anyways, he was there. He was like a leading player, and I suppose maybe people in the politics back before that, back in the 2000s and 1990s, maybe they knew his name more because. Like we know Netanyahu's name. Everyone knows Netanyahu's name. So maybe everyone did know Barack Obama, and no one is just, they just went along with it. Like, instead of being like, oh, Barack's not a fucking Muslim, he's a Jew. And that's how you can tell. That's, another trick of the liberals. Like TYT, like they don't, when the Republicans say that Obama's a Muslim, they don't take up for the Arabs and say, no, he's not. Barack's a Jew name. And the liberals allow that attack on Muslims to occur by not cutting it off, directly at the root. They just allow that show to occur because it's a distraction and a deception. And they do the same thing with Trump, but it's kind of like reverse. This time the liberals are like, oh, instead of he's a Muslim, they're like, oh, he's a white. And so then whites get blamed for what he does, when in reality he looks a lot like a Jew and all his family is Jews. So you have that going on. What's Brog mean? When did they change his name to Barack? After he became a ruler? Yeah, I noticed that about the white South African dialect. It sounded kind of different to me. I definitely noticed that one, that it had a certain accent to it. And Golem, I guess I kind of assumed that, that was probably one of the actors. Yeah, supposedly there's some sort of karmic debt they say they care about. I don't know if they really care about that, but it's weird because they'll tell you anything. Like I've been told like everything in my life. I think like people tell me shit and like I don't even know what to think anymore because deal with some fucked up shit, weird coincidences happening and shit. But then I got the idiots online, fucking, who are generally threatening to kill each other or other people. And I don't really care about that, but I thought one of my videos maybe I should remove it because there's people there might be no one really in my life, but that doesn't mean that if I'm around people or people think I know someone that they wouldn't try to fuck those people up. And I've been involved in shit, so I could see like these fanatics who chase motherfuckers who talk about this stuff, easily doing that. Like that's the entire argument for Trump is Trump's a good guy, he's just compromised. So he's doing the best he can while he's compromised. It's like, okay, well, how did they compromise him? And it's like, well, then that means they blackmailed him. And they blackmailed him through his family. And that's the only argument you can make for, you can make that argument for Barack as well. Although that's a pretty dumb argument because it's a Jewish name, so it's, and it means so many of the things Barack was, too. Obama was. So it's not just like word. It's not just a name they've given him. It's like a title and a command they've applied to him. Like he will be the ruler. It's almost like they knew like from the start. Like if they called him Barack from the start, because that name is what it is. And I have no doubt that his mom knew the lineage, and you don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna name my kid after a ruler of Israel and shit. It's like, who does that? Well, Jews do that. That's who does that shit. So, I mean, what the fuck? Who else? Like, who else gets named after fucking your kids? Like, you get named like the same shit pretty much your parents and your family named you. So that means there was like Baracks in her family. And that means there was Bergs and Steens in her family too. Does Barack really make? Yeah, but you're like, when you talk about gematria though, I don't know if what you're saying is true. I mean, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but every time I go looking at a gematria shit, it looks bogus. It it's like there's a ton of it. There's like you could use a calculator to tell you anything because there's a ton of calculators to choose from. You just choose the one that has the best outcome or something. I don't know. I asked one of these people how to do that, and they got all pissed at me. And apparently, you're not supposed to not be able to understand. I'm just an idiot because I don't understand gematria, apparently. I should know that right away. I should be born knowing gematria. Maybe some people are, and I was just born knowing how to read, so I didn't get the. couldn't understand gematria. Feel bad for you if you got the gematria down though, and you haven't and you're living a bad life, because once you get that gematria down, you should be able to, like, summon a house and a nice Lamborghini or something. I'm working on that, but maybe like I said, I'm not good with the gematria. Yeah. If you need gematria to spot a Jew, you probably fucking should see an optometrist, fucking, because they're pretty easy to spot. It looks like you. That was the easiest part about Ramsey Paul. Now looking at Trump, it's going to be a lot easier for me to spot the blonde ones because Trump looks like other ones, and then he made me put it together. And like I said years back that it's hard to see the blonde ones because they look different, but I think I'm like they seem to like only have like one phenotype for the blonde. So now I guess I gotta start learning how to look for the redhead ones because you have what, Conan O'Brien and uh, that one guy, comedian guy on TV is probably one of them, right? Other than that, I don't know. So I gotta start looking for the red eye ones. Are there any red haired women of them? I wonder what those look like. Yeah, I mean there could be something to it. I've never seen a Jew do gematria. I've lived with Jews and they weren't going to waste their time doing any gematria. I don't. That's kind of like that's part of why I don't think that's what it is because I don't think they'd sit around and waste their time doing something like that. And they, I haven't seen it, but then again, it could be something they do when you're not around or whatever. Or maybe it's even part of their thing to ask you. You know, like you said, you have to let them know what you're doing to them, or it's bad karma. Maybe when you ask them, maybe they ask and I just don't pay attention. And I'm like, no, that sounds stupid. I don't want to do that. Yeah. You know what? They say Madonna fucking is into the Kabbalah. And I'm sorry, I like never got a vibe that like she was like some advanced person. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. And like even like the most shitty music superstars, like or like at least really talented people who can dance and sing, and maybe but I never got the idea that whatever she did was something we should do. And to be honest, how Hollywood is, like she didn't get into. I mean, she admits she switched later, so she didn't get into Hollywood because she knew geometry and magic. She got into Hollywood because she knew on her knees and blow the Jew, and I think that's how they all get there. But she didn't know the geometry and magic to get there, so it had nothing to do with her obtaining fame. So she could never say she's done anything and have proof. Like if she like pulls up in a Lamborghini one day and goes, "Hey, this is because Geometria helped me get a Lamborghini," you can never be like, "Oh yeah, cool," because she was already rich, you know, like before she knew Geometria, so she can't like necessarily claim that. Any person who like admits they learned Geo or Kabbalah before, after they got rich, then they can never tell you that it helped them because it's like, now you were already helped pretty fucking big. Like from there on, it's just smooth sailing, unless you're just fucking a crackhead or something. And even then, you just make a new album, and that's that. You get a new fucking paycheck, buy some crack. I don't know who I've met. I never asked their ancestry, so I don't know which ones I've met. I'm not sure about their ancestry being really different than Jewish. I'm not sure if they have to do that or if they really would do that. It sounds like it'd be poisoning their bloodstream if they're smart enough that they can control everything. It sounds like they'd be poisoning their genetics if they actually bred with people as dumb as Donald Trump supposedly is. Yeah, why wouldn't? Yeah, see, anyone with a brain can look at Adam Green and see that. That's why you don't know alt-right or fucking should be looking at him or fucking Stexenhammer or Ramsey Paul because they look like that. You know, that's like the only thing you really have to go by until they tell you. Yeah, I'm sure she does, no doubt. She probably identifies as she probably is half Jew. I mean, yet alone just because she's been had sex with so many of them for a job, she probably is just for that alone. But other than that, I wouldn't doubt she is. A lot of times they'll do some weird thing like I became a Jew. It's like, yeah, you did, didn't you? When you were born, you became one. But she was used to like supposedly be a white woman, and see that would be a perfect case too, where they, you know, like Drake he passes as a black person instead of a Jew, and so there he is, and no one knows any better. And then I don't know what Drake does or his music, but we know with Madonna the idea was to like make girls just shake their ass. Apparently, like that was like shaking ass for white girls, right? Pretty much. So that was her job there, and like that was kind of Elvis's job for like he shook his ass for white girls too. That's literally about all Elvis fans know is that they whoo and they shake their hips, and it's like, yeah, it sounds like it was very productive learning from the Jews in the media. But I don't know if she is or not, like bloodline wise. I know what you're talking about though. She has said she's a Jew because she's done Kabbalah and all that. She knows better though. You can tell like she's just a star and she'll say anything for attention. And like the older they get, the more secluded they get, the more they have to go out of their way and say or do stupid shit and kiss more ass. And then sometimes you have people like the GDL attacking you, and they're like, oh, you know, Madonna's a Nazi, Madonna's a Nazi, and then Madonna will have to like blow her producers extra to prove to them she's not a Nazi. And then she'll have to do a bunch of, but Madonna would love that. So it's like, that'd be hard to pin that on her, but they do that, you know, with Brett Favre and Taylor Swift. They did that with Taylor Swift, where she's like, Taylor Swift's a Nazi. Maybe next week Taylor Swift will be a Kabbalist, you know, since the fucking Nazis wanted to call her the Kabbalist. A Nazi. Why not? She better become a Kabbalist. Yeah, I haven't watched the Game of Thrones. Seems kind of weird. I've seen enough old people shit. I don't want to watch anything else about medieval England again. And besides, it just sounded like it was like another excuse for their late night nudie shows. So, I mean, I'm an adult. I don't need to watch Showtime after hours. I can just watch normal after hours videos. It's like everything is them, like on the internet and on the I mean, everything is them, like that I look into, so I kind of quit looking into what's them, but it's really hard not to. It's like you turn on the Punisher and you're like, yeah, well, that's fucking obvious that's them again. And I mean, of course, it's obvious the Punisher is them because it's Marvel. And Marvel's not only always been them, but Marvel's also part of Disney now, which is now them. So, yeah, yeah. I actually recently, like this last week, I've been watching like older like musicians. I guess the last couple of days, and then even before that, I guess I watched like some Buddy Holly interview. I think it was one of those guys, and he was like making fun of the music. He was like, "Man, this other music's so shitty, man." He's like, "They're really dumbing music down and shit." So it's even if you're in there, you know, if you're not one of them, you know, it's like even fucking John Lennon didn't like his own shit. So some of these people know that something's up. Like Justin Bieber's mom, like said some shit when she went away, when they took him away from her. She said she got on her knees and prayed that, dear God, what did I just do? I let a Jew take my child from me. It's like, yeah, I think people know this, but it's just not talked about. Like she was implying that the pedophiles just picked up her fucking children. I don't know what ox cord. I don't know what red pill music is. Red pill music sounds like it'd be these people who are fucking working for Donald Trump. That's one of those Donald Trump sting dog whistles. Like, has that basic narrative that Stexenhammer666 is going through. And they're all like looping back into it too. So like you can tell the older guys were always like compromised because they all loop back into it. Pretty much the only alt-righter who somewhat distanced themselves, he distanced himself more than the GDL does, who claims to be anti-alt-right. But then again, he does too. That's Varg. But then Varg's like I've seen Stexenhammer666 is on like Varg's page. Tons of people commenting, so it's like looks like a cooperation to me. Fucking the why would but I don't get it. Why would they like be interested in each other? Because he's clearly like Varg clearly tries to portray himself as anti-Trump because he has to, but um, so if Stex loves Trump so much, why would he be watching some anti-Trump channel? It's because it's like a fake anti-Trump. It attracts the Trumpers. It really does. Like that's the like almost all the comments. Yeah, yeah, and it links, and it's not necessarily they're related. It's it's that they're part of the same network, programming network, or generally in about that. and sometimes it just gives you something else. But yeah, a lot of times there'll be people who are spouting the same opinions, but it's not just that. It's the people YouTube wants you to go to. YouTube wants you to go to these people. YouTube puts them on the front page or puts them on the front of the back page, and then you see it when you flip it over if it's not on the front page. But they get a lot of their fame from who knows where, like fake accounts posting, bot accounts, paid for accounts. I don't see there being that many people who would fall for that same trick. Like I'm a Nazi and I want to kill the Jews. Let's go hang out with all these people who who are telling me to worship this Jewish guy Trump. Like that makes no sense. Why would you do that? Like that'd be hard to get a million people to follow that type of narrative. Like the only thing we're gonna do is talk about killing Jews. It's like, but we're gonna go hang out with this one good Jew. We're just not gonna call him a Jew. We're gonna say he's gonna save us from the Jews. Yeah, Varg plays like fucking really tight game there. Fucking, but I don't see the control. I don't see the people who are deceiving people being friendly with him unless they weren't like, working together. But he's not deceived. Stex is not deceived. He knows. It takes like 2 seconds to look into Trump's bloodline. Like, all you have to do is ask the one question you claim your organization knows about and understands. And the whole reason your Nazi organization exists is because you need to gas the Jews. So are you looking for Jews to gas, or are you gonna fucking look for Jews to hang out with? And when you like running this Jew gassing organization, it's like, why not just disband the organization if you're done gassing them? Fucking create the friendship club and call it that instead of the alt-right or the Nazis. Call it the friendship club, and then invite Donald Trumpstein over, Netanyahu, and Stexenhammer666, and the rest of the alt-right. You can invite Adam Greensteinberg, who got into Israel, because you can really get into Israel. It's not like Israel hasn't had some 30-year war on people entering Israel and does like a thorough background check unless you look like Adam Green. Because if you look like Adam Green, they'll just let you in the fucking gate and be like, oh, what's up, Shlomo? And then I'm going to be like, hey guys, good to see you again. I'm back here at home in Israel. You won't believe these stupid goyim in my channel. They're always talking about gassing the Jews, and I'm saying, yeah, we're going to gas them, and then I give them some fucking fluoride to drink. And they go crazy on that fluoride. Yeah, yeah. And Adam's Green followers, they seem to be the cheap bots too. The ones you can buy from like India for like 50, like a buck 50 for like 50 comments or some shit. It's pretty cheap, man. You can get this shit cheap. If you know what you're doing, you can get a lot. If you got any sort, I bet you fucking, if you know anyone in Hollywood, you can get like tons of fucking views on your videos like for $5. Like, it, tons of unique viewer hits, which is what you want. You want the unique hits, fucking, and then pow, $5, get a ton of them. And he would have that same crew follow him to where he would go attack and shit. And then when the media supposedly exposed his little thing with Brett Favre, it was weird because at first it was just like little nobody media outlets who touched that, and it looked like it looked staged in itself, like the media might not have been real. See, they do some shit with the media where they lock. Maybe it's just me, but if you're at like a hotel, you see, when you travel around, when you're in a hotel, you see like you're limited on what you can see, right? You only see that state's local media, so you don't know what goes on in the rest of the world. Like you seriously don't know anything. Your media could just be lying to you, and they do. Like there's so many fucking like they run their scripts, but what goes on in your city stays in your city. You can't watch. It's like illegal. The government and obviously the government's covering shit up because as far back as I can remember, you couldn't watch other cities' newscasts. Like I wanted, like when I first got into this stuff, I wanted to know, is Colin Flaherty fucking telling me the truth? It's like, well, to be honest, you can't ever fucking say he was ever telling the truth about anything because they covered shit up. I even posted a video um, from one other city of some stuff I noticed they were covering up. It was a shooting or something, and they were trying to blame white people, or it was something fucking, and it was some shit they didn't want people to see. So I put it up, and then I'm pretty sure that got removed. So they don't like you seeing what's going on outside of the city you're in. They want to keep you really dumb, and that's part of the government's involved into that, into rules that block your airwaves. The government's in complete control of the airwaves and shit, so they are allowed to control the bands and what's allowed where. And I mean the FCC. I'm sure you look into that, and it's them, right? I mean, it's going to be fucking someone who looks like Stexenhammer666 running it, or Donald Trump, because they obviously control that shit, just like they control the internet, Hollywood, comic, just like they control the internet, Hollywood, comics, Broadway plays. Yeah, I don't know anything about 5G. What's going on with that? Yeah, I think people generally are angry about all this shit, but what I mean, what can be done? Like they do what they want. The government's generally too big to fight back, and the people want it to exist. Yeah, hey, that's a good fucking way to put it. Jews staff's definitely putting out fucking magic spells and shit. I mean, it's definitely providing the media and shit that's putting everyone under a trance. even the name Hollywood is the stick that druids use. Druids would carve a stick of Hollywood and cast spells with it and stuff. Yeah, and those driverless cars sound fun. I mean, it actually does, but it doesn't sound cool with, like, the people in control. Yeah, I kind of do live it. I was definitely going to fucking totally seal off my bed. It's like, it is pretty sealed, but not completely. It blocks fucking wireless transmission to some extent. That was an accident. I was kind of pissed at that at first, but then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this shit works pretty good. You know, if I'm not trying to do something. Okay, so I've been talking for 2 hours. But this guy, it's just the same thing. It's like he's just there to make you like Trump. That's his whole purpose, and he seems paid for, planted, and he talks about like every single talking point he brings up. It's like a list the government's printing out for him and everyone else. CNN is the demon, basically, he's saying. See, so CNN, they tell you fake news is bad, but fake news is not code word for fake news. Fake news is code word for CNN. Really? Why don't we just say fucking CNN? Are we scared of Zuckerberg? You know, I think it's Zucker that owns CNN, if he's still on it. So it's like CNN's evil now. Like, it's not illegal to say CNN anywhere. It's illegal. It's not illegal to say fake news. It's illegal now. It's not even illegal to say Jew right now. Right now, it's illegal to say like Nazi or white supremacist. Like, that's what I've been getting banned for ever at Facebook. That's the new word you can't say. So that's because they're in control. So you can't badmouth them. And when they get them out of control, you know, if things exist that long, then they would put the next guy in, and then with the next, you know, phrase they want you to hate, like the alt-right will be gone, but there's going to be a new strong, maybe the alt-right will stick around because it was in control, but there will be a new strong liberal group that comes up. It's called like the libtards no more or something. You know, whatever, the berry bear hunters or so, whatever they call it, right? It'll be the same group, and it always is. Just like the alt-right is the same group that the libertarians were, and I mean, the libertarians were a little less upfront aggressive. It's like the same people, like, and they were hinting at that in the media, and I was like, wait a minute, what do they mean? Like, what does this have to do with anything? They were like, why does it matter if white supremacists are backing Ron Paul? Because you didn't like, they weren't planning on putting him into power, so they didn't need to really push, you know, what it was about. Like, to put Trump into power, they had to really push what it was about. You know, it's like those dirty people at the border is trying to break in. We got to build a wall, because if we don't build a wall, they're going to break into Israel and take it back and call it Palestine. So we're going to build a wall, and then we'll deal with the Mexicans. So they push that narrative to the front because it's like a narrative they were pushing to push, you know, the political table forward in Israel. You know, like, I mean, America kind of doesn't matter. Like, fucking, it's like it's expended anyways, so it's not going to change. You know, I mean, it's going to change, but it's not going to, like, it's not going to change, make necessary changes to change course. It's going to change. It's just they're not going to change on their own. They're going to be forced to change. So that was just, more of it, putting him in. And then this guy is just like part of that. He's just like one of the cheerleaders. Like, imagine each president has a media backing him about the size of a cheerleading team. Each one so far has seemed to have that. I didn't document it completely or at all before Obama, but about that time I did start documenting it all, and I did the libertarian, documentary. Like everyone in the libertarian media is them, and then everyone in the liberal media, which is now broken off from the TV, is them. So in the alt-right, we can assume is them because all the ones before them. Everyone in the conspiracy theory media, we can't prove them all, but that's kind of like where I started looking at it. And then you have dead ones as well, but you have proof that they all protect them. You can find Maxwell protecting them, Jordan Maxwell protecting them, and you can find other guy who supposedly died before Alex Jones, William Cooper, he was protecting them. So, like, every group you look at, like, soon they'll have another group. Like, it was like every 3 years it was feeling like, but now it feels like they've got, like, different groups ready to shuffle, and it's kind of like phases they roll out. But when they roll it out, it's like, it quickly takes root. It's like instantly there. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the David Icke, what's going on there with that angle, because it's very weird how there are pages dedicated to David Icke who are like hardcore, like fucking crazy racist motherfuckers, and it's like, worse than any alt-right gathering. And it's like, wait a minute, this is like, that's like not even what David Icke was about. And it's like in the videos, and still not like, in some of the propaganda he's projecting, it's not like that at all. But it's like all his commenters are that way, and he does occasionally like spark things in that direction, but it wasn't like that before. It just switched over. So I'm still trying to figure out like what he's doing. But although I think discussing the people in the UK, I keep saying that, is completely useless, because they have nothing to do with America, and we shouldn't, like, the only reason why them discussing us is important is because our nation will use the ability to discuss other nations so they can discuss the next nation they're going to pillage, like France or Venezuela or Mexico, or Iran, Syria, Gaddafi. It's the same thing. But they seem to be generating some sort of fake narrative to control Europe. Like, it's like weird, because I've always known of Varg as someone, but he feels like he's like in with the Americans, like, because all of his followers are these people who are in with the global American thing. Like they all talk about Brexit, and we don't need to unite. The French are demons because they want to unite against America, but America has been controlling these other nations forever, apparently, by creating these fake media outlets. And the people who control America, they own RT. So Russia's like not a thing either. I don't know who owns like France media, but you can only suspect it's the people who own every other media in the world. I don't even know what a mole waffle is, so whatever. Whatever that is, I have no idea. Maybe I shouldn't have said that word either. Who knows what will get me banned, right? What material is that, Selwyn? Yeah, well, I don't plan on being irradiated soon, any more than they're already doing, right? All right, so